a wonderful little hack to help you use your brain to clear pain. So if you've been dealing with pain, I would like to give you a little hack here and explain the mechanism behind it, give you a few pointers so that you can understand how to use this, use it effectively, and then move around pain-free. So before we start, a little bit of background. You need to understand that the brain is predictive. The brain is a prediction-based organ. It is constantly attempting to anticipate what is ahead, what's in the environment, how it's going to need to respond, because it can then conserve energy. If it just runs programs, if it runs prefabricated programs which have all of their responses to specific environments, specific people, specific emotions, if it has all of those responses already programmed and ready to run, then that's way more efficient. And so from an energy conservation standpoint, that would then up your chances of survival. And this is speaking from an evolutionary understanding, an evolutionary understanding of how the brain functions, because if the brain knows, if you've evolved in an environment without a stable food source, if you have to go out and hunt or gather to get food, then the more that the brain can conserve energy for a greater amount of time, that increases your chances of survival, because it means you can survive more days without food until you can hunt or gather or find more food to refuel again. So the brain is constantly looking to optimize energy efficiency, and it can do that by predicting. And then it can just run programs which cost the brain way less energy than having to figure everything out in the moment. So remember that the brain is predictive. That's really important. So because the brain is predictive, what that means as far as your physiology is concerned, it means that you exist in a feed-forward feedback loop. So the brain, you have thoughts, those thoughts feed forward into the physiology. Your brain then makes, the physiology then responds with physical sensations, physical actions, reactions to those thoughts, and that's your feedback. You then get the feedback of your emotions. You get the feedback of physiological sensations. You then draw conclusions on that feedback that you get, and you then feed forward more thought back into the system, which then generates more feedback. And then if that happens to be a loop that involves pain, that's why pain then becomes a spiral. It becomes a loop that you don't seem to be able to get out of. Because you have a negative thought, the brain responds with feedback, which may be pain for you, and then that pain convinces you that you are right, that there's something wrong in the body, that it's not a great situation, and you're stuck in it, so you have more negative thoughts, and then the pain continues, and you just go into that spiral. So what you want to do, let's just use the example as if you are experiencing pain in a peripheral joint. So that could be an arm, a leg, anywhere in the body that deals with that laterality. So let's just say, for example, you're dealing with pain in an elbow. So dealing with pain in your elbow pain. Now, if you've had pain in your right elbow for a period of time, the brain will begin to predict that pain is going to exist. And so it doesn't really help when you go and experience a therapeutic approach, and the first thing that the practitioner says afterwards is, hey, go looking for that pain, try and find the pain. If you go looking for something, well, this is the way perception works. You will find what you are looking for, and the brain is predictive. So when the brain has been experiencing pain, and particularly chronic pain, it absolutely 100% anticipates that pain is going to be there. And even though you may have already resolved all of the physiological symptoms that actually appear to be generating that pain, when you go looking for it and the brain's predicting it, funnily enough, you'll find it, because the brain is that powerful. You can just make it. So it then feels difficult to get out of that pain. So what you're going to do is you're going to harness and take advantage of your brain's own hypervigilance. So if you've had chronic pain, and in this example we're talking about pain in an elbow, if you've had chronic pain in a right elbow for a period of time, your brain will be hypervigilant about that elbow. You'll be guarding, you'll be protecting, you'll be constantly thinking and anticipating the pain that you're going to feel from lifting something or pushing something or picking something up. And you're already aware of the pain that you're about to feel before you even go and grip that bag or whatever that weight is that you're about to go and pick up. So what you're going to do is, instead of going and picking up the object, picking up the bag, or going through the movement that has caused you pain, you're going to work bilaterally. And what I mean by that is, you're going to go, instead of using the right arm that is painful, use both arms, but you're going to take the same hypervigilance, and I want you to place your attention on the left elbow. And so the reason why you're going to do this is because the pain that you have in your right elbow is a projection that comes from the left somatosensory cortex. So you have two somatosensory cortex. You've got a primary and a secondary sensory cortex, and that is where the pain projects from. So the pain on the right side projects from the left sensory cortex. The pain and all the sensations on the left side project from the right sensory cortex. And those cortices can communicate. You have down the middle of the brain, between those hemispheres, you have something that's called the corpus callosum. The corpus callosum is like a bridge. It's about a bridge of 200 million axons and dendrites that allow communication across those hemispheres. And so those hemispheres can learn from each other. And so what you're going to do is just go to a weight that's moderate, something that you know is not going to hurt you to lift, something that you know intellectually is going to be okay, that you're actually safe to lift. So I'm not encouraging you to just go and ignore the pain and go and pick up a 10 out of 10 weight. Don't go to maximum intensity with this. Go to a 3 out of 10, a 4 out of 10, or a 5 out of 10, something really easy, something simple that you know that you could pick up and you know you're not going to injure yourself. Intellectually, you'll know you're not going to injure yourself, but neurologically, your brain, that left sensory cortex, is going to be anticipating that there's pain in the right elbow, and it would generate that for you. So what you're going to do is go and pick up this moderate weight, and then you're going to take the same hypervigilance that would have been active in your left primary somatosensory cortex, and you're just going to give that same attention to your left elbow. So as you pick up the weight, you're just going to take all your attention, and as best you can, you're just going to be constantly asking, what's going on in my left elbow? What am I feeling in my left elbow? What's going on? What sensations am I feeling? And all the while, your brain will be attempting to project those painful signals in the right elbow. And while that is happening, your job is just to simply look and say, no, not that right now. No interest in that. I know I'm fine. What's going on in the left? And the brain will continue to project those same sensations from the left's primary somatosensory cortex to the right elbow. And you're just going to, no, not right now. No interest. Thank you. I know I'm fine there. I'm just paying attention to what's going on in the left. What's happening in my left elbow? Now, as you do that, what's going to happen is your right primary somatosensory cortex is evaluating everything that is being sensed as it's picking up that weight, and it has the opportunity to then evaluate and recognize, like, oh no, that's an appropriate load. No, that's totally fine. No, I can absolutely cope with that. That's literally the talk that will be going on in your right primary somatosensory cortex in that moment. Now, while it's doing that, across on the other side of the corpus callosum, in the left somatosensory cortex, the left sensory cortex now has the opportunity to learn from the right somatosensory cortex. And it can literally recognize, like, so those sensations are appropriate. Oh, wow, I was kind of panicking and projecting pain signals for that load. Oh, so that's actually okay. Now, the key with this is you're just going to continue to pay attention to what's going on in your left elbow. And what will happen in your right elbow is you'll observe that the pain will change. It will disappear. It will lessen. It will shift. It may go somewhere else. It may give you a slightly different sensation, but it will reduce and it will eventually disappear. But you're not looking to judge it. You're not looking to go back to that right elbow and then reevaluate, what am I feeling here? No, you're simply going to keep your attention on the left. Continue to feel into that, what's going on, maintain that same hypervigilance. You won't be able to help yourself. At some point, you'll accidentally look over to the right and check in what's going there, but you're not attempting to try and judge and work out whether you've actually fixed the pain that's gone away, because as soon as you take all your attention back there, if you haven't dissolved those programs, you'll just generate the pain again. So keep your attention on that left elbow and allow your right primary somatosensory cortex to teach the left primary somatosensory cortex what is an appropriate load, and allow that hemisphere to learn that it's actually safe. Learn that the joint is actually not in danger. It's not going to get harmed. It's not going to fall apart. It's not going to break. It's not going to tear, not going to rupture. And then as you do that, over time, you can take it up to a 6 out of 10 lift, a 7 out of 10 lift, an 8 out of 10 lift, and you will eventually dissolve all of those things. You'll dissolve those sensations. Now, there's faster ways to do that. Of course, we can always just, I work with nociception, I work with pain, and we can just dissolve those signals. We can change those switches in the brain immediately, but this is something that you can do on your own, and over time, you'll be able to dissolve these sensations. It will work with running, it'll work in the lower body, it will work with lifting weights, it will work in pretty much anything that you do. Obviously, you will need to make sure that physiologically there's nothing torn, there's nothing broken. So when you've taken care of all your rehab and yet you still appear to have pain, this is something that can be really, really, really helpful. So I hope that's helpful. Give it a go. If you would like some more help or you would like some more guidance with that, please reach out. I'm really happy to help and share more with you. Or if you have chronic pain and you're really struggling to get free of it, well, reach out and there's faster ways to go.